Hello, my name is Salman and I'm Assistant Professor of Integrated Science and Humanities at Hampshire College.
I'm Kevin Anderson. I teach courses in film and anthropology at the University of Massachusetts, and this is Film Autopsy.
How you doing? Llewyn Davis.
Oh, hello. I've heard your music and heard many nice things about you from Jim and Jean and from others.
You have not heard one nice thing about me from Jean.
Oh, it's the rain, she's a turning in.
I'm interested in gigging here.
Okay, let's hear something.
You don't want to hear the record?
Why should I? You're here. Play me something. Play me something from inside Llewyn Davis.
Okay.
Hello, and welcome to a film autopsy of Inside Llewyn Davis. New film written and directed by Ethan and Joel Coen, featuring Oscar Isaac in the main role, and also starring Carey Mulligan and Justin Timberlake. It also features John Goodman and F. Murray Abraham. Nice to see him. Haven't seen him for a while. And this is I think it's a rather unique Coen Brothers film. If you liked some of their other work, like A Serious Man, The Man Who Wasn't There, I think it's more in tone with those other films. It's not a side-splitting,
They do have other
comedy.
titles without man in the title.
They do?
Oh, No Country for Old Men. No.
That's right. Oh,
Anyway, okay.
they like that pronoun. Okay. But so the film takes place in the early 60s in Greenwich Village, New York, the folk music scene. It's where all the cool kids are hanging out and doing their artistry. And there's one particular cool kid, Llewyn Davis, who is exceptionally talented. And his music is so beautiful and haunting and kind of complex. And it's just popular. It's not popular enough. It's not breaking him out of his life of couch surfing and borrowing money from, wealthy friends and this and that. So ultimately, Llewyn is kind of spinning his wheels, and we see him spinning his wheels, yet we as the audience know this guy, his music is fantastic. He is kind of a jerk, though. And that's it. There's been a fair amount of jerks who've risen to the top of the music industry. So I don't think that's what's holding him back here. What was your take on Llewyn Davis and Inside Llewyn Davis?
Right. Well, so I think to say that this Coen Brothers film is unique, I think it doesn't narrow it down, because Coen Brothers films, I think they're all their own genre in some sense, and they're all fantastic. And this film, I think what sets it apart is it is dark. It is very dark. And unlike usually they have some lighter moments and some places where it lets out some of the tension, I don't think this movie is relentless in that its darkness. Mm-hmm. And that doesn't mean that it's not a good film. It's a very good film, but it takes time to absorb the story, the way the story unfolds. And I would highly recommend that you watch the film and do not form an opinion about the film immediately, because I think it takes time to seep the story in, and if you get a chance to see it again, because of the way the story is told. And again, it's a spoiler, kind of, if...
So turn the volume down
so
quickly.
if you don't want to hear about it, but it is about the fact that the story is cyclical, which is ingrained in the life of Llewyn Davis, that yes, he's couch surfing, which is different from web surfing. Yes. It's not as pleasurable. but the fact that he's always on the move, but he's not going anywhere.
Right.
And I think
a man always on the go, going nowhere.
And that, I think, is the central theme.
Yeah.
The way, and again, with Coen Brothers, their screenwriting is so, the storytelling is so tight. It's always, there are no extra scenes, and there's always a reason why a scene is there.
And they get great performances from everybody in this film.
Absolutely. But what I was trying to say was but this structural storytelling is embedded. What they are telling you about that it doesn't go anywhere is embedded in the way the story is told.
Right.
And I think that's a key point. So I love the film, but it's dark, and acting is phenomenal.
Bleak. I mean, it has some, I agree. They don't really pause to let the tension out, but it's not like a downer bleak. It's just it has a kind of tone. There's like a heavy cloud over the whole film. You know, it's not ruining the experience, but it is a heavier film that you don't quite expect when it first starts.
Right, and there are other. I mean, there are scenes where, like a dinner where Llewyn Davis has a patron, and we don't know why they are so generous towards him, because, as you said, he is kind of a jerk, and that is one key thing that, as you mentioned, like, you know, in the music industry, there are a lot of jerks that actually are successful. So that raises this question: why is this particular jerk is unsuccessful?
Well, what I like about it, and this is where I see a parallel to A Serious Man, is that he's just not successful. He's talented. He is kind of a jerk. He's ambitious, but he's not like overly ambitious, like, you know, always knocking on record producers' doors. But he stands up for himself. He believes in his own artistry. But like in A Serious Man, that storm is coming. Yeah. Is there a reason for it? Nope. It's just coming. And so I think that I took away from this film the same thing I took away, at least from Serious Man, is that, you know, there's things in life that are unpleasant and ugly, and they happen.
Okay, so here is an interesting. I actually took a slightly different lesson from, and I do think there are parallels to A Serious Man and also to even, I would say, The Big Lebowski. Okay, because in both Larry Gopnik and The Serious Man, the storm is coming. He can't do anything about it. The storm is coming, and in the dude in The Big Lebowski, things are happening to him.
Yeah, no control.
But inside Llewyn Davis, I think things are happening to him because he is doing that, not because other things are there, either natural causes or in the dude, like, you know, the other people. So I think
mistaken identity.
Mistaken identity. Whereas here, him being more than a jerk, he kicks out opportunities that are knocking on the door. Yeah. He makes these decisions, and I think that's part of it between the opening and the closing scene. Yeah. So one of the beautiful things about the film is that it starts off with a similar thing. Again, this is the spoiler part. And it ends with the same thing, but you have two very different impressions for the opening scene versus the end scene, even though they are very similar. Yeah, yeah. And I think
it's a nice bookend, but they're not identical.
And I think, and that's where the fact that it is his fault rather than somebody else. I thought that was brilliant.
All right, good. Well, we should probably go out. Not a lot of Academy Award nominations for this film, which is unfortunate. It's a fantastic story, original screenplay. The music that was nominated for it was probably the silliest song in the film, which was even the Coen Brothers' kind of commentary on artists working in the commercial pop industry.
And the movie is about authenticity. I mean, apart from, we're just saying that Llewyn Davis is an unlikable character, he's a jerk and so on and so forth, but he is authentic. He is unbelievably talented.
Well, that's why I think it's called Inside. He's totally exposed. He holds nothing back.
The point is, talent alone doesn't do it. You have to be lucky as well, but you have to take opportunities alongside with it. John Goodman is in it too. There is a whole parallel story associated with that. We can actually talk a lot more about that.
But we won't.
There is a cat named Ulysses, which is really important. Its name is Ulysses.
Odyssey.
It's on its Odyssey. There is a wonderful scene of cat in a subway looking at all the different stations and, like, you know, stops, and which is just phenomenal. I thought that was a great scene. So there are lighter moments with the cat, and I think that's really good.
I think it's a high recommendation from both Salman and myself. Inside Llewyn Davis, see it while it's in the theaters. Great music.
The gender of cat at one point is perhaps the funniest scene in the film. So yes, do go and see Inside Llewyn Davis.